guys, my name is Lovett Bembo and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be discussing how changing my mindset helped me down the altar, or I would say how changing my mindset, made me getting married possible. So yeah, okay, let me start from the beginning because it's kind of like a long journey, but I'll try to pick the highlights of the story and just stick straight to the point. But I'm going to be 100% real with you. This is my personal experience of how changing my mindset made me get married. Okay, so in 2020, it took me a while to really say I was spiritually, mentally, and will I say physically ready for the marriage thing. Initially, I used to be concerned about it because I felt like it was a kind of a demanding task for a woman to do. Women had to do so much. You had to leave your father's name. You're not bearing your husband's name. I felt like women did a lot of sacrifices when it comes to marriage. And when I was much younger, I felt like I wasn't ready for all that, commitment, yes, sir, and all of that. Because I always feel like I always had a strong opinion. So having to suppress your opinion sometimes, just to let the man be the man in the relationship was kind of a thing for me. So in 2020, I felt like I was mentally ready to get married, and I was trusting God, to get married. So then I was in a relationship. I met someone that, I felt was the one. He checked most of my boxes. So quick one, what's boxes? So for every lady, we have, or every person, I think guys too do, but I'm speaking from a lady's perspective because I'm a lady. And for every lady, there are some certain things, attributes you want to see in the man you want to get married to. You want him to, depending on the case, it could be dark, tall, and handsome. We all have things that we wanted to see in the man we want to be. So I had mine, and in 2020, like I said, I was in a relationship, and the man I was dating at that time, checked most of the boxes, not all of the boxes. So it's almost impossible for anyone to check all the boxes. It's almost impossible. You can hardly have someone check all the boxes. So I was dating someone that checked most of my boxes, and I was like, okay, I felt like it was it, and all of that relationship was going. But at the point I was like, I really wanted to be sure that this was it. I didn't want to, relationship I stayed for I think over 6 months there, but I wanted to be sure that God was in it and this was God. Because there were some signs that I was saying like, okay, it's not perfect, but like nobody's perfect. Like, maybe I can call baby, but I wanted to hear God's opinion about the relationship, and I prayed about it, and I told God, speak to me in the way I will understand, and he did, and he said it wasn't the one, and I was broken. I couldn't believe that it wasn't the one. I was like, I've already spent this long in this relationship. God is saying it's not the one. How can it not be the one? Is this, is that? He checked all my boxes and all of that. It was a problem for me to agree to the fact that it wasn't the one. And because of that, I didn't want to end the relationship because I didn't even know how to end it. But long story short, the relationship ended. So 2021, I was kind of shattered with the relationship ending. I didn't know if I was ready for another new relationship. One of the things that were my desires for 2021 was I wanted to get married this year. I felt I was age-wise, I was matured and ripe enough for marriage, and I just felt it was the right time. I wanted to do this, this year, and I was just praying about it. And even in the midst of praying about it, I just broken up in a relationship, towards the ending of the year and all of that in 2020. So 2021, I was still just trying to get over the fact that this guy is no more in my life and all of that. So it was a lot for me then. But one of the things I told myself, okay, if you say you're getting ready for something, aside over time, I've gone to singles relationship classes, seminars and all of that. So I know a thing or two, from my parents also, because we're good role models in terms of marriage. Because we're married for over 30 years, and so I could see them too and all of that. So I decided to start reading materials, watching videos. Shout out to Pastor Kingsley-Okonkwo and Pastormildredkingsley-okonkwo. They were really a big blessing to my lives in my journey through getting to the altar. I listened to a lot of their videos, relationship videos, marriage videos, and it really helped to shape in my mindset. Okay, so fast forward to how my mindset started changing. So I had I'll just say a few. I don't say all my specifications. So a few of my specifications were I liked dark guys, okay? So, and I liked somebody that was slim, because for me, I'm a chubby person, so I felt like, okay, I want somebody that is slim, because I feel like two chubby people will bring birth to very fat people. I don't want my children to suffer from obesity and so many things. So we ladies, we like to overthink things. We think even for the future that has not come. So that was just some of my things. I don't want to marry a Yoruba man. Sorry to all the Yoruba men. There's no hard feelings, but that was just me. So I don't want to get married to a Yoruba man. I had so many other things that I don't want to call. So by and large, sometime in, I think was that March? Yeah, March. So my girlfriend called me. I don't have so many girlfriends, so I have one very close friend, and we became very close. We served in Ebonyi State for my NU service, and from there we just became like sisters. And because she was also based in Lagos then too. So yeah, so she just called me and was like, there's this guy that's asking for your number. He wants a serious relationship. Should I give him? I'm like, do I really want to be in a relationship? And I'm like, see me that I said I want to get married. I have to give myself an opportunity to meet somebody now, Abby. And I'm like, okay, give my number. And yeah, fast forward, we started talking and all of that. And after some weeks talking, we decided, okay, let's get to see ourselves face to face and all of that. So yeah, and I saw him, and it was a nice, lunch date. So we had like a lunch date. We had in a restaurant, in an eatery, sorry, not restaurant, an eatery. We just had, and we talked. He even came with a friend. So yeah, made it less bothersome or whatever. But it was a nice, date of first meeting. And for me, then I was like, this is not the kind of guy I like, because it was opposite of things I liked. It wasn't dark. It wasn't like a third person, but it wasn't dark enough. It wasn't slim. It wasn't so many things. And after the date, I can remember I had to. So after the first, I can remember I had to call my girlfriend, and I was like, when she was asking me how did you go, I was like, yeah, it was nice, but it's not my type. It's not slim. I just kept on complaining about things, and she was like, you're not seeing anyone anymore. Just get to know him. What will it take for you to get to know him? And I was like, well, she was right. I've been checking on my boxes all this while, in my previous relationships, and none of them have led to what I wanted, which is, to settle down, and start a family. So, and I'm like, why shouldn't I give this a trial? What do I stand to lose? It's not like, anything. So anyways, another thing I want to point at this point in time is, ladies, it is important for you to carry yourself well in a relationship. Whatever standard you use to start a relationship, that is what a man will take. Before now, I used to feel like if you overprice yourself, or if you show too much standard, then the man might not want to stay, or you might not end up dating any person. Any man that will truly love you and be with you, that will really be the one. Because I actually like to use the word the one will always agree to your standard. For when you set standards, that it helps you to sieve the unserious men. When you don't have standards, so that's when you have to deal with so many kind of guys, that you're not supposed to even deal with in the first place. But once you set standards, it helps. Standard could be, sorry, if we're going to be in this relationship, I'm waiting till we get married before we have sex. Standard could be so many things. There are so many things you can set for a lady. I'm just using that as an example. There are so many things. Whatever standard you start with, if the man truly loves you and really wants to go far with you, you will respect them. And for me, as I was getting to know him, that was what I did. I set my standard. This is that. This is the kind of man I want. And not like the kind of man I want, but I kind of like set the standards I wanted. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. If you are agreeing with it, fine. If you're not agreeing with it, please be going now. Because I was so, well, I say strict, but because I felt like I didn't want to get my heart broken now, so I decided to put it all out there in the beginning. Like, this is what I want. This is that. These are my standards. If you're fine with it, fine. If you're not fine with it, let's just end it here, or just know we're just friends and nobody's hurt and anything. And they agreed to all of my standards, and I was like, okay, let's be watching, and all of that. Long story short, sometime in June, and okay, let me not to go too far, because I don't want to make it a lengthy video, but I just want to try and hit the most important part, I feel, as I'm being led. Okay, so June was my birthday, and like I said, we met sometime in March. So in June, my birthday. He tried to make that day special for me. That was one birthday that I will remember. It was special. He tried his best to make it wonderful. And thank God for my beautiful friend. Shout out to my chief best friend at Bridget. She was there too. They all made it fun. I enjoyed my birthday. That was one of my best birthday. So after then, no, 3 days before my birthday. So I was around that period. I was around because a friend of somebody, a mentor that he looks up to, was doing a wedding and went for the church wedding. That was like, I think that was one of the first weddings I went. That was on a Sunday. So I was there with him for the wedding. Like, remember, the wedding ceremony was over and he was just like greeting his pastor and all of that. And the pastor was like, who is that lady? And I said, that's the woman I'm, dating. And the pastor was like, come. When he told me, I was like, this pastors and this and that. I was like, okay. I just went, and the pastor was like, we should go to the altar and pray. And I'm like, what are we going to do that to go and do now? I was not like you that say we should go. Okay, what are we going to go and pray about? And we just went. I was like, okay, pastor said we should come to the altar and pray. We cannot stand there. We must obey pastor. And let's just pray something. And we did a very short prayer, and I was like, let your will be done in this relationship. Now, remember, guys, that was June 6th. As at June 6th, I wasn't 100% sure, that it was the one. In the course of when the relationship started getting serious, I was already praying about, like, God, if it's really the one, speak to me in the way I understand. But God was not really saying much. I wasn't hearing anything. I was like, why, God, why are you taking? I was like, okay, let's just see me observing him and all of that. But towards that period, God was already giving me peace in my heart that, this is the one that he wants me to, spend the rest of my life. I'll still battling with it because, you have specifications. You want a tall, dark, slim guy, whatever. And, the one that God is trying to tell you that is the one who is not looking like it. And you're like, are you sure? Are you sure it's not the one? So I was in that value of, okay, I'm not sure if it's one, but God is saying it's the one. Then June 6th happened, where the pastor said we should go to the altar and pray. And after we did our short prayer, pastor came to meet us and he asked him, okay, he asked me, I was like, is this a serious relationship? And I said yes. And he asked him, is this a serious relationship? And he said yes. And the pastor asked him, like, okay, so when do you see yourself getting married? And he was like, in the next 2 years. Pastor was like, no, why, what's happening? It's too far. What's the problem? And the pastor was like, so like everything I had said probably for now, because we've had previous discussions of when we went together. I told him I want to get married this year, and he was like, me, I'm still looking at maybe 1 year or so. You get me? I'm like, so I'm saying 1 year or so. God, I'm ready to that. Say I want to get married. Maybe it's not the one. Maybe there's another one that you're preparing for me. And that day now happened. And I was just laughing when Pastor was saying it, because Pastor was just everything that probably I'd had in my closet with God, conversations, that I've had, just talking to God, was some of the things that the pastor was saying. And I just smiled. And I told him, I like this, your pastor, because at the end of the day, Spirit of God is one. There's no confusion, with God. Long story short, June ending, we started planning towards our wedding. And July 10th was our introduction. August 14th was our traditional, and August 21st was our white wedding. So the truth is, God indeed answers prayers. Sincerely, even me, when I told God I was going to get married this year, I wasn't sure when exactly this year I was going to get married. But one of the things was that I just kept on declaring, so Lord, this year will not pass me. I want to get married. Because for me, next year I'm going to be 30. I'm 29 now, and I told God I don't want to be 30 and I'm married. I want to get married before I get 30. And I agree to that, but this year, this is my year, And the pastors, our spiritual leaders keep telling us, keep saying it, don't stop speaking it. And it is true, when you keep saying it, over time that thing begins to materialize. And when you trust God, when you put him to test in your life, he always comes through. So one of the things I kept on telling God, one of the things that I'm always definitely when I really just let God lead and just keep declaring it, always comes through, and he always does it better than I even think, And yeah, so that's my story. The abridged versions, because there's so many things, and I can't really say so much, but I hope I've been able to say something, and to say something that you can learn from. One of the things I want to advise every lady out there that is single and trusting God, for the right man, is be open and trust God. He never makes mistakes. Sincerely, he never does. He never does. And majority of the times, the first time I heard this, I think it was Pastormildredkingsley-okonkwo that said it, and she was talking about her own personal experience when she met Pastor Kingsley, and that it wasn't what she wanted for a man like he was, he was Igbo and all of that. Most times, the man that God will choose for you to be your life partner will not be what you want in terms of your imaginary man that you want, or the kind of man you want, whether it's dark or tall. God will hardly ever pick what you have in mind. Hardly, because majority of the times, I think it was Steve Harvey that said this in one of his shows that I listened to, and he said that most times somebody that you're attracted to, you might not be compatible with. So your imaginary guy, that dark, slim, tall, and handsome, you might be attracted to him. You guys could even date, but you guys might most likely not be compatible. And the one that you feel like is not really your check box list kind of guy, will be the one that God says is the one. And when you agree to it, you see that you have no regret. So ladies, be open, have a close relationship with God, because there's nothing that you can do in this present age without him. When you are with him, when you have him by your side, he makes all things beautiful in his time. And it's always beautiful to have a relationship. It just makes things easy for you. Personally, it makes things easy for me, and that's my safe space. That's where I just feel like everything in life adds up and makes sense when God factor is in it. So yeah, please drop your comments in the comment section. I would really like to hear what you have to say, and I hope with these few things that I've said within this short period of time has been able to minister to you or drop a word for you. So thank you. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.